posters. Hell yeah. Ranging from sizes 10 by 10, 16 by 16, 18 by 24. Pre-framed, ready to hang. All you have to do is convince your wife you want a truck on the wall. Hey babe, can I put this on the wall in our bedroom?
I think I want a divorce. And I've been seeing the neighbor.
Ouch. That didn't go as planned. AI voice is not as convincing. For some reason my wife declined to do voiceovers for me. Maybe we'll just go for a hoodie or a t-shirt to keep this marriage afloat. We got all sorts of colors, we got all sorts of prices. Come on down to Fourth Wall Time-Lapse Trucker and pick yours out today. Oh, look, the neighbor's here.
Hey, Gerald, can I borrow some
What are the 101s coming back together nicely? It's gonna be burning a little bit of oil for a couple of days. Have to go for a car wash. Driveline vibrations, clutch. I don't know what's up with that one. Refurbishing this rust bucket. Got all the scale blasted off it. With spare hood now, that's off the one that was the Northland Logistics, because we put the T8 high hood on it. It's not here, it's that paint. Getting a lot of restructuring, changing a few things in this. It was very crusty. Very, very crusty. It'll all get sandblasted. I think we're gonna repaint all the green and everything. It'll be white. I don't know what we're actually doing with this one. If it's gonna end up at Raylin, or if it's gonna stay here, it'll be red or it'll be white. That's what happens when you park outside in the rain without buckets. Yummy. Oh, gross. Reminds me of Cyprus. Yard is finished on this side of the world. Room for preparation to get Raylan's gonna park on this side. Boundless is gonna be over there, I guess. I don't really know. We've all been like boarded off to one side of the world here, kind of sucking. And we're gonna finish up the front at some point. So the Raylin will be putting their wheelies here. Wheelies will be going over there. We've got a bunch of big rock. We're gonna line this. That's the pump over there in that culvert that pumps out to the ditch. This is done, I guess. This is the new mid we got. New used, redacked. Got a bunch of new U-bolts and a couple leveling valve airbags. Redid all the hubs. The legs are at two different heights. It's crooked looking. Still needs some flags put on it. Or it needs to go for a drive and get retorqued. Hook up to our trailer. We're gonna go over and scoop up diverter skid at Arrow. Take that somewhere close to Caroline, I think is where we're going. Then we gotta rather grab a boiler or a centrifuge from out there at a drilling rig and take it back to Nisku. those things. Like, you could probably leave this at the back, but it's too heavy. So we put it in the middle, you know. Rides better. Yeah, it was light enough. I could have left it back, but this is better. Hate all the above. Hate to put this against their... I hate it that when I do this. Not really their fault, but... When it's sucked up like this, you're not going to shower everybody with gravel. These guys here usually just skirt their stuff around with the forklift the best they can, kind of thing, you know. Sometimes it's alright, sometimes it's a lot of work. Back in the day, you used to call somebody with a bed truck and come over and do yard work. Those days are like long over. We don't do that stuff anymore. Do I wrap the ears? Do I go around the box? It's gonna hit that tab, and you can see somebody else has done that multiple times. Sole wrap the ears, my least favorite maneuver. Anytime you got something where you don't want the chain to move from the ears because it doesn't have anything to hold it in place, you know. Like most skids have poles here. See it in it? Over the top, under the bottom, and across. It usually ends up choking it, so it's, you want to make sure you got it pretty tight. Diverter skid. They'll put this on the well and use the lines to divert pressure to somewhere else. It's typically how it goes. That's why it's called a diverter skid. And we'll just do lazy way on the back. All right, let's roll up. It's actually going James River is where we're going. Dogs out, brake on. And my brake's a little tight. That's one reason why I don't like the Lennox. Like, they're durable, and then they require a lot of like constant setting up because they click 0, 1, 2, 3. Where a lot of the other ones are fully adjustable. They're kind of the same as your Johnny tractor spike, trailer spike. You can like more or less just by pulling on it. So yeah, just past James River, turn off on 22 headed south. Just cross the bridge in the passing lane there, hang a right ski. It's not very far back in there, so. And then, like I said before, centrifuge or boiler from there. I don't know if the centrifuge will be going back to Nisku, but if the centrifuge isn't ready, I'm supposed to grab boiler. The boiler's going back to Nisku. Maybe the centrifuge is going to Apex, and I don't know if I have to do it all myself. Still learning to drive. If you left this diverter skid on the back of your trailer, your scissor is always, it's kind of rough, so if I didn't have two rolls, then I would not suck it up. They're hard to shake back. It's been a long time since I've done diverter skids, but I do have a story. Back when I was a swamper at Howard's, we the smaller picker that was only single steer tandem national with the fold out legs, you know, old school, it had a winch. I don't remember, I want to say we were way back on Coal Camp, which is towards Mountain Air, somewhere in there, in the mountains. And we grabbed a diverter skid. I think it was a little more beefier than this. Probably overweight. And it's the same thing as, I think he sucked it up, or we had other stuff on the front of the trailer. So this was on the back, but straight out of lease, straight up. We ended up spinning out. They put the boom over the back and tried to lift off in the middle of the hill with no auxiliary. I don't know what kind of gears, I'm sure it was 430s or something like that. Blew the drive shaft off. He's like, just get everything that you can. I was digging logs out of it was winter time. I was digging logs out of the bush, and we crammed them all behind the trailer tires, both of the drives on the truck, and packed them with snow and stuff. Man, I don't remember if we spent all night there, if we were there for a long time. The mechanic had to come out. We were out of Spruce Grove at the time in the small shop, if you're fluent in Howard's, the original shop where they first started. Right at the UFA card block, or that was Husky? I think it was Husky. Smallest ass yard, just enough room to come in there and burn a loop, park a trailer. You had to get good at lining up. I learned a little bit of stuff there. I used to park the trailers, wash them, wash shacks, and all that good stuff. Yeah, coming over, 10-4, four-wheeler buddy. Another story with the same operator when we were out in Coal Camp area. We were on that Coal Camp road. And when you get along the river, there's lots of rock, shale rock, us Albertans. I especially get excited when I see rocks because I'm from the Yukon, and as you can see, there is zero rock up in here. So he was picking rocks. We were up on the embankment picking rocks. I helped him, of course, because I'm like, okay, well, let's hurry up and get this done and get going. You know, it's like parking on the Coal Camp road is a narrow road to start with. So he's up there, he's grabbing rocks. He takes a step, he slips, folds his finger. I'm pretty sure it's this one. He folds his middle finger, right, breaks his finger. He's crying like a baby. We ended up going to Sunbury Hospital. He's like, I think I'm gonna pass out. You're gonna have to drive. And at that time, I'm like, I don't know if I can pull that off. I had like no experience besides riding around with my dad and driving in the yard. That was it. I like maybe pulled a few gears, but definitely not a driver, especially not in the winter, especially not a picker. So I was kind of nervous. I'm like, dude, you'll be all right. I talked him through it. And yeah, we went to the Sundry Hospital, and he got fixed up, and then he kind of wussed out. And then I think the mechanic had to drive his truck back to Spruce Grove from Sundry, the same guy that came to fix our U-joint. And yeah, I don't know if I went with him in the pickup or what I did. I don't remember. I was just like, man, I think I drove him in the mechanic's pickup. The mechanic drove his truck. I was just like, man, some of the things. And I pick rocks still to this day. When I see cool rocks, my wife loves rocks. I'm like, bringing home some rocks that are not the same as like a river rock, just like bringing home diamonds to her. So yeah, when I see cool rocks, I pick them up. All right, enough yip yap. Let's go.
Oh no, I heard you were leaving.
bit of playing around there, not too bad. I was scared I was gonna get stuck once I got the boiler on me, right? So I'm just like, suck it to me. Try to stay, you know, away, but I guess I had to back up right into it to turn around. I'm over here making crater holes. Trying to get turned around, right? With my sweet steer tires. Well, I had it all locked up too in preparation that shit was gonna go shitty. You know what I mean? So once you do that, it's hard to turn. I tried, right? Soft spot there. No problem. Yes, there's equipment. Nobody's here though. Just maybe the I guess. I'm sure he'd fire up the rig hoe and give me a hand if I needed it. Pecans. I was gonna grab from the other side, but it looked worse. I weighed my options and went with option B, which should have been option A, but I was like, this rig, I was driving 525 when we moved this in here. As soon as I came up, but we were coming in from that way because the rig was over there, right? I was like, oh, it's short enough. Maybe he's like, oh, it's fuck all, it's light. Yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe I'll be able to stay flat. Sucked her on. If I was gonna scissor, I wouldn't have done it right in that position anyways. But I'm like, I need to get out on hard ground so everything kind of functions properly. And then the more you move when it's soft like that, just think about when you're standing on the beach in the sand and you start until you're up to your knees. If you've ever done that, I don't know. I do it all the time in the mud. So yeah, that's what happens when you do that with your truck. We'll scoop this on down to Nisku. Enzyme, which I think earlier I said Savannah, so sorry. If I offended anybody, well, I don't know what's going on after that, but yeah, it was overweight on the back. I actually have to got a permit for the trailer. I'm about right there on my truck, 20. I'm probably just a little bit under. Need a permit at one end or the other, take your pick. And if I suck it any more ahead, I'm gonna be too tall to go down Highway 2, which is the easy way. Already gonna have to deke out Leduc overpass there onto 2A when you're on 2 is only 5 meters, on 4.9 and change. So, you know, you don't wanna push it. I'm gonna check. We'll see I'm gonna stop on hard ground and double check again just to make sure. I just had to give him a number so he get the permit rolling. And if all else fails, it's hard on the rubber strips though. Drop the air and I go under it, but my conveyor belt will be rubbing on my tires that whole time. I'm just like, man, I need to get thicker. I need to go with the 1 inch so it holds its flex. Or I gotta find something that I can put in there that is still, I don't know what to do. I'm thinking of like a piece of flat bar aluminum from, I just don't know if it'll do it. If I run it and just give it a little bit of curve, don't run it any further where the trailer normally hits it, and maybe it would hold. But then I gotta drill more holes and bolt stuff to it, so I don't know. Contemplating. Maybe get some puck board and put it in there. Kind of defeats a lot of the purpose again. Just bolting more shit to more shit. We could, yeah, puck board would work, I guess. I just pretty much run it the same as what I got there, which will be a pain in the ass to do, but. Or I'll talk to the lady. Maybe I can get a piece of 1 inch, and then we'll just switch them out. Yeah. If I dump the air in the truck, I'd be rubbing. So it'd be nice if I didn't have to do that. I can also loop. You exit right away. But if traffic is heavy, it's hard to do. Basically doing a load check. It just left. Boys. This is a boiler. Inside is a boiler. There is also a water tank. This whole section probably right here is fuel. Holds a lot of fuel. Said it's empty. Probably in the wind just right now. I know. Get something on the end of your tape. I could have grabbed my stick, because it is literally still the same. Maybe this is water and fuel, because there's a breather right there. It's probably half and half. And I guess that would mean that's why that is there. So we have inches, so we'll probably be alright. We'll go with it. I'll drop it a little bit. I'll see if I set off the lights, and if I set off the lights for that overpass, then I will drop the air and I'll be like, should be good. Because I'm under 5. You know how they like to just, oh, you're too close, you might hit. The lights are probably set low. So people set them off all the time and then have the panic attack. You know what's even funnier? It's when you set off the lights. You know the picture in the sign that has the lights, like say in Red Deer, you're on 2 going north, or if you're going south, it's got a picture of truck hauling something big and round. And when you're hauling something big and round, like 400 barrel tanks, and you know you fit because you've been driving under it for freaking almost 2 decades, and you set off the lights, and then all of a sudden the cars that are behind you aren't there anymore. They're just like, they're gone, disappeared. They're anticipating. They got their phones out. They're like, oh, this is gonna be good. I'm gonna put this on Most Skilled Truckers, only to be disappointed because I'm better than that. But it is funny to watch them scatter. Okay, Nisku.
Stop calling me that. And I'm like, I will not. And he goes, this is already, I don't know if this is happening. This is like a story that I hear now. Yeah. And he goes, you do it, you say it again, I'll tattoo it on you. No. And I went, backflip bitch. So he tattooed backflip bitch in my armpit under here. And then Chuck Liddell walked by the tattoo shop, and I go, it's Chuck Liddell. And nobody in the tattoo shop knows about the UFC. This is a long time ago. And I go, this guy's a legend. And I'm like, punch me. And he's like, what? And I'm like, just punch me.
Can you squeeze it in there? I'm like, I will try. If it fits, it will go. The yard's pretty squishy. Just enough room to turn around. Not gonna get too crazy with the angle here. Oh, there's a horse trailer there too. Prime boilers. There's that bed truck that I was talking about the other day when I was across the street looking over here. Accurate Supply, remember, where they had that little fire. I was like, oh, look, a bed truck. The one they have in Red Deer is an old school. Oh fuck! Of course I left it open. Beep. Didn't quite shut it. When I probably slammed my door, it probably popped open. Yo, brakes. We'll get her close. See, he's like, if it doesn't fit, just put it there anyways. I'm like, okay, I can do that. It looks like an old Bramble bed if they had one like that. It's the same colors. Could be wrong. I'll take a picture of it though. More this way. More that way. Easy, bro. You're gonna run into it. It's gonna be a tight fit. But I think it'll fit. It kind of sucks because I don't have proper mirrors. Like, I have mirrors, obviously, but they do not go out far enough. And I'm like, when it comes to like inches, what's the point of even trying? So I have to go side to side here. And I think there was a time when like there was actually some valve sticking out, and I clipped the valve, but I couldn't see it because it was like nighttime or something. Oh, I knew that wouldn't stay for very long. I just pulled that right off. Keep that and try to figure out a way to reconnect that a little bit better. I was worried about that. I was like, well, that could just pop off and then there goes the camera. Sufficient, yeah, tight. It's in there. Could have went back more. I was like, it's hard to gauge how far you can go back, you know? I'm like, better safe than sorry. Didn't turn on the fucking remote feature. You know, I had a truck, I didn't have to do that. Good enough. That always happens. That's why I call it steering the sling, so you can keep it centered so it looks the part and doesn't go crooked. You can see by where the indents are. I'm on. Now I gotta sweep around it. We'll have to have an angle because there's going to be oil. So you want the tank to be at a great angle so the oil does not come back out. If it's over full, it might still come out.
No, you don't want to unthread it all the way.
Is it gonna spring out like Jack in the Box?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not
I
kidding.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it'll pop out. As soon as you start loosening that one off, it'll start spraying out. Fucking
Where's the bucket?
pretty good fucking aim, eh?
As long as I don't open it anymore. I got a feeling it's gonna be a lot.
No, here. Only be a little bit.
Huh. Someone forgot to hit record. Story of my life.
It's like,
Gotcha.
really fucking.
Do you need some lube?
No, it's got lots in there. But you want to take this, Gerald?
Yeah, because there's probably a ton of shit in there, eh?
Yeah, and you want to like everything, like the filter seals around it, and then that catches any fucking big chunks, right?
Oh, it's all like, there's some chunks of shit in there.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. But that's why you want to pull that piece out. You don't want to like pull the filter out. Otherwise, all that extra.
Cleaned her out inside there. She's all mint. Someone forgot to press record when I was pulling it out. That's what the inside of the tank looks like. Kick the dogs out. Dogs are out. Run the pump a little bit at low idle. Oh man, I turned the switch off. Technically, you probably don't have to do this step, but it runs all the time. Always circulating fluid. It's just now going to the winch motor. Comes out of the tank and back into the tank. Otherwise the tank, hydraulic fluid's always hot. So in the winter time, when it's all icy and snowy, you can see as soon as you turn on the switch, melts all the stuff on the winch. Gets nice and warm and hot. Warming up your winch. I think we're good. Put her back down. We'll take a look at that filter. There was some chunks of metal, like not a certain amount of metal, but there was like not sand, fine stuff on the bottom. We cleaned out the housing, put it back in. It's alive. Sounds good. Minus the exhaust leak. Alright, let's finish. Whoa. Sounds like normal. Shit in there. Filthy. It's probably never been changed. That's probably the first change it's ever had. Just going for a little test drive. I literally couldn't find a whole lot wrong with it. I did figure it was head. Something happened when I ingested that turbo. Sounds good. Should have told him I'll put it through its paces. Hopefully it's fine. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.